I'm now going to switch hats and pretend to be a developer using the system. I will log into my account and be presented with a task list detailing the work I need to complete. Every time a task is assigned to me by a project manager, I would be notified by email. I can now see that I have several J2Me development tasks assigned to me. As a developer using the system, I would now launch the Jump Developer Desktop for Java to complete these particular tasks. The Jump Developer Desktop, as its name suggests, is the developer component of the Jump platform. We've created a perspective within Eclipse that allows for a developer to perform all of the typical development and porting tasks within a single application, should they choose to do so. This product has been integrated with the rest of the Jump platform and is underpinned by the same experiential device and operator knowledge base. This desktop gives you direct access to that knowledge. You can see how we've integrated directly with the Jump Deployment Manager, the Tira over-the-air download service, the Jumplet search view, and of course the Jump knowledge base. We'll be introducing two new concepts during this demonstration, issues and Jumplets. An issue is a description of a bug, problem, or feature requirement within the Jump developer community. Developers can create and share Jumplets that resolve specific issues. As Tony mentioned, we've categorized Jumplets into two groups, transformational and component Jumplets. Transformational Jumplets make an application or device-specific optimization, such as a bug fix. A component Jumplet encapsulates a reusable software component, such as a gaming community like Sprint's Game Lobby. When you create a new project, the system will download the latest collection of issues and their corresponding Jumplets from the server to the developer's local machine and creates the configuration file shown to manage them. You will also see a directory that contains the weave source, which is the product of the Jumplets checked off in the configuration file and the original source. The configuration file itself represents the various constants that exist between the reference and target builds in terms of the transformations required. Developers can create their own issues and Jumplets and share them with team members and, of course, the broader community should they choose to do so. When creating a new issue, a developer can define properties based on handset characteristics. The Jumplet associated with an issue has access to these device properties and you can use them programmatically. Since we are using aspect-oriented programming as a paradigm to make these modifications, it's very easy to fix it to the community without exposing the IP of your application. Jump essentially allows you to abstract the details while still fixing the problem. Examples of useful Jumplets include writing a standardized operator API implementation, integrating directly with your existing build system, or communicating to a third-party application via web services. Once you've created an issue and or written the code for a Jumplet, you can choose to share it with your team members and or the broader Jump developer community. I can do this by committing the Jumplet to the repository, and I have access to it via our Jumplet search view. As Alan mentioned, the Jump repository will be a self-policing system, as each Jumplet will have a user ranking, tagging, and usage statistics associated with it. A user has the option of downloading a Jumplet written by someone else, looking under the hood, and making whatever modifications they choose, and then deciding whether they would like to share it back to the community. You'll see the numbers beside the Jumplet name that refer to the version number of a particular Jumplet. At any point in time, the platform can create an exact duplicate of the build, as all old versions of the Jumplet will be stored in the repository. The final result of the code is the weave source and a JAD and jar file, which can be compiled on any system independent of Jump. This means there's absolutely no vendor lock in using our system. Okay, Tony, back to you.
Well, thank you, Amit. Demonstration Tira Jump 2007 was awesome. I'd like to be a little self-serving at this time here and thank Alan and the entire product team for producing such an amazing platform. Very excited about that. So I'd like to remind everyone that we've recorded this demonstration and it will be available for replay at your convenience. We recommend that you bring your teams together, watch the replay, and have everyone experience how Tira Jump 2007 can solve their real-world mobile development deployment problems. At this point, we'd like to take some of your questions. Let's see what we have. Okay, first question. While the concept of sharing Jumplets in a community sounds good, I'd be nervous sharing jumplets outside my company. How would one decide not to share certain jumplets? Do I have to share them? We'll let Alan take that one.
Okay, let me take this. No, the Tira Jump and jumplets are all about giving you control. You only share with the community when you choose to. A jumplet can be tagged as public, which means it is accessible to the entire community, or private, which means it is only accessible to users or developers within your company.
Okay, let's see what else we have. See, how often are mobile devices added to the system? That's a fair question. Our knowledge base is extremely important and it's the core value of our platform. And so actually new devices are added to the system constantly, typically every few days. Also, since Tira Wireless has a very strong relationship with handset manufacturers and operators, in many cases we have access to pre-commercial devices that are really hard to get. These devices will be added to the system once we have profiled them. Typically it's a 2-day process, though. Let's see what else we have. Okay, there's another one. Does your system support customized frameworks or preprocessors? Let me have Alan answer that.
Sure. Jump 2007 can coexist with customized frameworks or preprocessor system. In fact, any preprocessor system out there. We have already developed a few jumplets that integrate with popular preprocessor systems out there, such as Antenna. It will allow developers to plug in existing tools or toolchains and leverage their existing investment easily.
Okay, here's another good one. Are there automation tools for the J2ME application QA? Alan, why don't you answer that one as well?
Sure. Jump 2007 includes a feature called AVS, Automatic Verification System. What it does is it will perform a battery of tests to the resulting Java application, and the tests include device-specific tests like testing whether the application is using the APIs that is supported by the handset. For example, if the application is using a Nokia API while it's trying to port to a Motorola device, it's not going to work. So the system will automatically catch that type of issues in the Java application and flag that and report that back to the developer.
Okay, good. Let's see, I got another one here. How are jumplets added to the platform? Let's see, how about a meet? Why don't you answer that one?
Sure. So jumplets are created and developed within the Jump Developer desktop environment, which we had just shown. That would, as you saw, it's based off of Eclipse. As a result, the Jump project is more or less very similar to a typical Eclipse project, and most developers are familiar with that already. Once the developer is satisfied with the jumplet, he can then commit the jumplet to the jumplet repository, and the jumplet is then shared amongst the community or a particular company. And there's specific flags that you can set on or off to determine whether you want it for a particular community, for a particular company, or if you want to expose that to the entire community. The process itself is very similar to typical standard version control such as SVN.